Okay, this is on how to make a feedback in your class. So we go ahead and turn on editing in our classroom and we add an activity or resource. And right now, if you're level 1, you only see 3 kinds of activities: the assignment, the feedback, and the quiz. So I'm going to click on feedback and click add. The thing up top, the name, is again the thing they're going to read on Moodle that they're going to click on. So, by the way, if it has that, it means it's required. There's no field or there's nothing in here required on the description of it. I'm going to go ahead and hit expand all and take a look at some of the things that by default the only thing open is the general tab. If I hit expand all, I'm going to see the other ones. And I usually do that whenever I make a new activity, by the way, so that I see the things that I think are going to show up there. So the first thing under availability, I can have, because it's a survey, I may want to have it open and closed. So I may want it open only for a week. So I could say, hey, it's going to open up right now, basically, and then it's going to be open for 1 week. For the kids to give their feedback on there. I don't use that because I have to redo it over and over and over again throughout the course. But if I was just trying to get the snapshot of something, that would be a good way to do it. By the way, you can use a feedback as an informal quiz as well and actually put the quiz answers and then go over it as a class. And it's a non-graded activity, so it works for a lot of different things. I didn't point that out as well. Okay, so do you want it to record the usernames? It can be yes or no. I'm going to say yes on this, that I log them. They don't see that. It's just if I want to know who didn't understand something or who said that they didn't understand something, if I don't have it log the names, that won't work. Allow multiple submissions. If you say yes, they can do it over and over again. If you say no, it means they update the one they already did. So I say no most of the time, and I don't get notified, although I could auto number the questions as they come through. That's not a big deal. And the analysis page means, can everybody else see it when they're done? By default it says no, but if you say yes, then they can see the same analysis that you and I just looked at just a second ago. And you can have a completion message that says thanks for your feedback or whatever you want it to say down there. And let's see, the rest of that is all advanced stuff. I'm going to go ahead and just say save and display. Now once I display, I get to this page, and here is where I can go and add questions in that the students are going to see. So if I click edit questions, you can see there's a couple different kinds of questions. Now first of all, page break is just that, where they have to go to the next page. I don't do CAPTCHA. That's to make sure that it's actually a person answering the feedback. If you had a Moodle site that was open to anyone to be able to get into and answer, do you have feedback? I guess that would be a factor, but I'm not even worried about that. Information and labels are just that. They're just, if I do the information one, it's kind of an open-ended question that goes on here. I don't use that one, I'll be honest, ever. I use long answer text, multiple choice rated, numeric answer, and short answers. And really of those, I usually use multiple choice and long text answer the most. So if I go and say I want to make a multiple choice question, is this required? I can check mark it. And I could put an actual question in from a test, or did you feel the orientation covered the course? I know I spelled the wrong rules well. And of course I'll go back and fix my quick spelling. Multiple choice, it's going to be single answer, although you can allow multiple answers, or make it single answer with a drop-down list. You have all three of those choices there. And then on the values, it says use one line for each answer. Yes, no, maybe I add slightly ambiguous. Let's see if anybody answers that. Okay, and then I'm going to say that's in position number 1. I'm going to hit save question, and that's what it's going to look like right there. They're going to be able to click one of those answers. If I had chosen one of the other question types, for instance, if I had done the drop down list, now it has that question and they just have to drop down. It saves room on the page. I'll be honest, if you have a lot of questions, it saves room on the page because there's only one spot there and you could have 100 things they drop down through, and there's only one spot on the page that they go to and pick that answer. And then the last one was the multiple choice multiple answers. That basically makes it a checkbox. Then they can answer more than one thing if they want to, which obviously doesn't make sense in this question. So I'm going to go ahead and change it back. Keep saying he or she, you want to go back there. Oh, and I can make that vertical or horizontal. So if I say horizontal, then it's going to go across here, which makes more sense if you're saying rate it between 1 and 10. You go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Then it's basically goes across there as well. So I can add as many questions as I want to. Long answer text obviously gives me a big text box, and I can say how big. I can say I want it to be 60 wide, which is going to be dependent on the screen that they're working on. And then please let me know what we should have covered better. And I'm going to hit save question, and now they're going to have this text box there that they can type in on this one. So you can see how it works. It's pretty easy. I can go and add as many as I want to. Short answer just gives a smaller area. It's one line, but how many lines across can it go? So you can see how wide is the entry, and then how many characters that's separate. So you can type past the end of the line if you wanted to on that. And so that's what a feedback is. It's a pretty easy way to get questions answered. Like you could use it as a break in an instructional series. I'm instructing for 15 minutes, and then we all open up our laptops and do the feedback, and I use that to see, did the students get what I just went over, or what do I need to cover again, because most of the students didn't understand one particular concept as I go through that feedback. It does not go in the grade book, but it gives me a way to get a formative assessment done of the whole class at one time in one big graph of who knew what, who got what. And I use that in my class for exercises. Let me go to one. So this is the analysis of a answer. Now, because these were all essays that they typed in there, you can see that I don't get a graph. But because they're open questions and not multiple choice, I immediately could see, okay, this student and this student were completely wrong, or these four were actually, that's who's wrong, those three were right. And then how much memory, whatever the question it was. Basically, there was a link that they had to go and read through and answer the questions on it to make sure they understood what was going on there. And you can see a number of them had different answers for the same question. So now I'm like, oh, there's definitely an ambiguity here. Half the class doesn't understand what I just went over, so let's go back and review that and go over it as a class. Whereas if I've got 90% of the class understanding it, I'm going to go and look at the name and say, hey, Jim, why don't you come to me after or during intervention today to go that over. So feedback's a great formative assessment that lets me know how everybody knows, because like I said, because I have it log the names, I can go here to show responses, and I can see who answered what and see who's got the area that we needed to go over again to fix that particular formative assessment.